God's people at this time, as you can well guess, are not following God. They're oppressing the poor, they're doing murderings, they're doing some very, very, very not good things to people. But they're honoring God when it comes to in religion. And while this doesn't directly correlate to American Christianity today, I think there's a lot to be said. We've kind of gotten to this ideology as a whole that sin's okay. Even to the point of you can follow Jesus and do whatever you want. And at the end of the day, that's just not true. That's not what God asks from us, and that's not what God honors either. And it was so bad in the book of Amos to the point where God's saying, listen, I'm done with this. Like, you can sing your worships to me on Sunday. You can act all holy. You can take communion. You can tithe. You can do all that stuff, but until you start honoring me with your heart and with your actions, that doesn't matter. I don't care. I'm not listening. I'm not accepting. And so in that sense, we see that God very much does care about sin. And that it's not just something we can just sweep under the rug. No, in no way saying that grace is not, obviously we are saved by grace through faith. That is not an excuse to sin. So hold on to that thought, and we're going to move a little bit forward now. We're going to go to Matthew chapter 5, verses 29 and 30. Matthew chapter 5, verses 29 and 30. If your right eye causes you to sin, pluck it out and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell. And if your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and cast it from you. For it is more profitable for you that one of your members perish than for your whole body to be cast into hell. Where are the Christians today who are so radical in their belief in God and their trust in God and their desire to be with God that they're willing to do whatever it takes to get rid of sin? Now, obviously here Jesus is talking in hyperbole. He's not saying you should literally cut off your hand or cut out your eyes. But he's saying that it should be that way, as in you are so dedicated to serving God that if there's anything in your life that is causing you to sin, you should do everything you can to get away from it, to get rid of it. Because in sin, you're limiting God's effect in your life, God's power in your life, God's control in your life. You're limiting the amount of intimacy you can have with God in your relationship, the intimacy you can have with others and your relationships with them. So we look at both these passages, and I know these are just brief passages in the whole of the whole Bible, but we can see that God is not a fan of sin. Not a fan of sin at all. And there are so many more books and so many more scriptures you can go to show that. So we have this God who in the book of Amos said, stop, I'm so sick of what you're doing that I'm not listening to you anymore. That unless you change your ways, I'm done. And in the book of Matthew, a God that says you should be so willing to get rid of sin you should cut off your hand. Not relish in it. This is the same God that the woman caught in adultery is thrown before. So you can almost imagine what the people are thinking he's going to say. What the woman is thinking he's going to say. So now finally, let's turn to the book of John, chapter 8, starting in verse 2. Now, early in the morning, he came again to the temple, and all the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. Then the scribes and the Pharisees brought to him a woman caught in adultery. And when they had set her in the midst, they said to him, Teacher, this woman was caught in adultery, in the very act. Now, Moses, in the law, commanded us that such should be stoned. But what do you say? This is what they said, testing him, that they might have something of which to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down